The ancient king devised a unique body-measuring mold to select his queen. Whoever could pass through it perfectly without triggering a bell would be chosen. Unexpectedly, all three candidates passed the test with ease, as each had meticulously maintained her figure. Intrigued, the king came up with a new challenge. He had 3 glasses of wine brought forth and declared that one of them was poisoned. He told the women that whoever chose correctly and survived would become queen. While the others hesitated, Annie did something shocking. She picked up each of the 3 glasses, one after another, and drank them all. Yet strangely, she showed no signs of poisoning. Delighted, the king asked how she knew the wine was safe. Annie replied, "A king respected by all would never let innocent women die for his game." Right after her words, a supposed death row prisoner stood up from the ground. It turned out that the king's 3 trials had tested the women's beauty, wisdom, and courage. And clearly, Annie had passed them all. The king, overjoyed, declared Annie his queen on the spot. But what he didn't know was that this queen he had so carefully chosen would soon become deeply entangled with another man. Just days earlier, on her way to the palace, Annie had been ambushed by bandits. Because of her beauty, they dragged her away. Luckily, a group of knights happened to pass by. Their leader, Jack, fought bravely to save Annie. But the moment he saw her face, he fell hopelessly in love. Annie, desperate not to marry the king, begged Jack that night to elope with her. But Jack hesitated. How could a knight possibly defy a king? Before he could decide, the king's guards arrived the next day to escort Annie to the palace. As he watched her leave with a look of despair, Jack was filled with regret. So he disguised himself as an envoy and followed her to the queen selection ceremony. He thought that if Annie wasn't chosen, he might still have a chance. But fate was cruel. Annie became queen. As the court celebrated, Jack stood among the crowd, his face filled with sorrow. Little did they know, one person noticed it all. Amy, one of the rejected candidates. Consumed by jealousy, Amy reported what she saw to the king, accusing Annie and Jack of having a secret relationship. But the newly crowned king dismissed her claims and angrily ordered her out of the palace. Still, the king was naturally suspicious. To test the truth, he set a trap. He ordered a maid to secretly summon Jack, claiming Annie wished to see him in her chambers that night. Unaware of the setup, Jack arrived as instructed. Annie, thinking Jack had come back for her, embraced him emotionally. But all of this had been seen by the king. Furious, he had Annie thrown in prison and announced that Annie would be executed the next morning before the palace gates. But just as the execution was about to take place, a group of beggars suddenly appeared.